The purpose of this lesson is to build a foundation of understanding the basic elements of business analysis. Target audience, it is for absolute beginners. At the end of this lesson, students will have a basic understanding of the business analysis role. Now, the lesson contents are as follows. 1. Beginner's glossary of terms. 2. What is business analysis? 3. The interactions of a business analyst within the project team. 4. What are the duties of a business analyst? And this we will explain further by using 2 case studies. 1. Ordering food in a restaurant, and 2. A computer upgrade project. But most importantly, let's start out by discussing the beginner's glossary of terms. The purpose of this glossary is to explain a few of the terms you need to understand for this lesson. 1. Being the business requirement. They are the critical activities of an enterprise that must be performed to meet organizational objectives. 2. Your functional requirement. They are defined as a function of a system and its components. A function is described as a set of inputs, the behavior, and outputs. And 3. The non-functional requirement. A non-functional requirement is a requirement that specifies criteria that can be used to judge the operation of a system rather than specific behaviors. As you will come to understand later, requirement gathering is probably the most important subject matter in business analysis. So let's discuss the differences between a business requirement, a functional requirement, and a non-functional requirement. You see, a business requirement is usually expressed in broad terms. A functional requirement is usually more detailed and expressed in specific terms. A functional requirement is usually expressed in terms of quality attributes, such as speed, quality of service, scalability. For example, let's say you go to speak to a stakeholder, and the stakeholder states that, hey, we need to order a new laptop and printer. That requirement is generic. As such, that could be termed as a business requirement. And then the BA will now take that particular requirement and translate that to something more specific, such as, we need to order for a new Dell laptop with a 50 gig hard drive, Intel processor, and a HP 311 color printer. As you can see, this is more detailed. It is specific, and that makes it a functional requirement. And then a non-functional requirement would sound something like, we need to ensure that the laptop can process 100 transactions per minute. Now, as you can see, this is expressed in terms of speed. As such, that is what we mean by a non-functional requirement. Now, next up, what is business analysis? Business analysis is a discipline of identifying business requirements and determining solutions to business problems. For example, a business problem could be any of the following. A supermarket needs to improve sales and customer checkout time. A bank wants to upgrade its operating system from Windows 7 to Windows 10. Or it could be a retail company that wants to expand its business by opening a new branch in another country. In each of the scenarios above, the business analyst will play an important role as liaison between business stakeholders and the technical team, ensuring that their business needs are reflected in the solution. Now, let's discuss the business analyst and his interaction within a project team. The business analyst cannot exist in isolation. A successful business analyst must be prepared to interact with many people within the project team. Typical team roles may include, but are not limited to, the following. You have your project sponsor, the project manager, also known as the PM. Then you have your business analyst, also known as the BA, the developers, the test analyst, and the stakeholders. Now, let's talk about the project sponsor and interaction with the business analyst. The project sponsor has overall responsibility for the project at the management level, including funding, go or no-go decision making, and providing resource support. The interaction with the BA is usually very minimal. The project manager. This person manages the day-to-day activities of the project, ensuring that requirement-related tasks are delivered on time, within budget, and within scope. The interaction with the BA is very high. The project manager is usually your immediate line manager. The project manager is responsible for your tasks and its timely delivery. The developers. They are the technical resources assigned to a project. The developer is responsible for designing the business solution. The interaction with the BA is very high because the business analyst is responsible for the requirements captured from the stakeholders, and the developer in turn is responsible for translating those requirements to the business solution. Then you have your software tester. These people conduct prescribed tests on the software programs and applications prior to the implementation to ensure quality, design integrity, and proper functionality. Their mission is usually to detect bugs in the solution. The interaction with the BA is also very high. This is because the business analyst and the tester have to work hand in hand to ensure that the business solution designed by the developers is fit for purpose. And finally, your stakeholders. These people represent anyone materially affected by the outcome of the project. Stakeholders are often the prime source of information when planning and managing requirements. The business analyst is heavily dependent on stakeholders. As such, the interaction is extremely high. They are the BA's best friend and could be your worst enemy. Stakeholders are the key to the success of a project. If you don't get them all on board, the project may fail. And then you have you, the business analyst. You are the person who acts as the liaison / facilitator between the technical team and the business stakeholders. As a BA, you must be prepared to interact with everybody within the project team and beyond. So, what are the main duties of a business analyst? You see, the task of a business analyst is to understand the business change needs, as in to understand the business problem, assessing the business impact of those changes, capturing, analyzing, and documenting requirements, and supporting the communication and delivery of requirements with relevant stakeholders. Now, at the most basic level, a business analyst acts as a translator or liaison between the customer or user and an IT person or groups attempting to meet the user's needs. This means, for instance, in a restaurant, a waitress is a liaison between the customer and the chef. In a hospital, the nurse is a liaison between the patient and the doctor. In the stock market, the broker is the liaison between the speculator and the exchange. In the airline industry, the booking agent will be your liaison between you and the airline. As you can see, every job involves an element of business analysis. So let's use case study 1, ordering food in a restaurant, to demonstrate the day-to-day duties of a business analyst. Peter walks into a restaurant. Waiter greets Peter. Hello, welcome to Mr. Montana's restaurant. Can I help you? Peter responds, yes, I would like to have some dinner, please. The waiter gives Peter a menu and asks, what would you like for starters? Peter responds, yes, a bowl of soup. Now the waiter then asks, what would you like for the main course? Peter responds again, grilled fish with potatoes, please. The waiter then proceeds to ask a series of questions to ensure she captures Peter's requirements accurately, like what type of fish do you want? How would you like your potatoes? Roasted or boiled? Would you like a side dish? What would you like to drink? The waiter captures these details in her notepad and hands them to the chef. The chef prepares the meal as documented by the waiter, and when the meal is ready, the chef beckons a member of staff to taste the food. While Peter is having his meal, a young lady introduces herself to Peter as the restaurant manager and inquires about the level of service. End of case study. So let's attempt to answer the following questions. Please identify the following players in the case study. Who played the role of the business analyst? The stakeholders, project sponsor, project manager, the developer, the tester. The answers. You see, at the most basic level, the waiter is playing the role of the business analyst. The developer is your chef. The project sponsor is Mr. Montana. The project manager is Janet. The software tester is the person who tested the food. And the stakeholders are Mr. Montana, all the employees of the restaurant, and the customers. Okay, now let's discuss case study 2, the computer upgrade project. This is a project whereby a company wants to upgrade its operating system from Windows 7 to Windows 10. You see, to summarize this, being a business analyst is like being a waiter, but instead of taking orders from customers, as a business analyst, we are capturing requirements for updating a computer operating system. As such, the business analyst takes responsibility for talking to the business users of the computer system to understand their needs. And the needs could range from anything from we need a faster processor, and the reason being for faster transaction processing. We need better audio quality or better integration with other systems. The business analyst in turn takes this information to produce requirements which clearly states the business needs. The requirements are then used by the IT team, also called the developers, or external suppliers, to build or modify the system. While the system is being built, the business analyst is always on hand to deal with issues and questions and to support the business in implementing the required changes to make effective use of the new system. So, what have we learned so far? I hope we've come to understand that every job involves an element of business analysis. Business analysis does not require technical skills, but it does require good communication and documentation skills. And I hope you've also come to understand that the business analyst is essentially a facilitator between the stakeholders and those who are going to develop the solution. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of our Lesson 1, Introduction to Business Analysis. Thank you very much for watching. To continue with these lectures, or if you have any questions, or if you need useful resources, please visit us at vision201.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.